There we go.
Okay, I have a
We are
slide.
live.
Very good. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 16th meeting of the 2020 Overview Commission. It's Thursday, September 17th. We're meeting via virtual meeting WebEx. It is, and it's a general meeting, so all the commission members that are available are here so far tonight. I have not received the agenda. Let's see if we can post the agenda up. Do we have, Stephanie, did you get the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. One moment, please.
Okay, so Stephanie will put the agenda up. There you go. It's not very ambitious, is as I promised you on the last meeting to try to finish up and approve the focus area reports. But let me back up. First, I have not received any public comment for the meeting tonight. Stephanie, are you aware of any public comment received?
I have not heard of anything.
Okay, so I did check to make sure that our button was still active to receive public comment, and it is. So the next item is the approval of the minutes. So the general meeting last week, or August 6th, 2 meetings ago, we did approve them at the last meeting, but unfortunately we didn't have a quorum at that meeting. So Mumby did bring that to my attention. So we'd have to have a quorum to approve those minutes. And also for the general meeting, August 20th. So tonight, it looks like we do not have a quorum as well. So we're not going to be able to approve the minutes for this meeting or for the last 2 meetings. The third item is to approve the focus area reports, which is kind of the meat of the meeting tonight. So we delayed this meeting a couple of weeks to give everyone a chance. And there was a reminder email that went out at least twice in the last couple of weeks for everyone to take a look at these to see if there's anything else that they wanted to comment on or to have discussion on. And I know that we did have some email discussion today regarding one of that, and we might be able to go ahead and have that discussion. But let me back up a bit now for the rest to finish up our duties here. Our vote on the general meeting on August 6th was to basically finish up these 2 reports and then to write the general report that becomes a part of, approve it and close the commission. So that was a report by the majority of the members. That was the vote of the majority of members on August 6th. So that's what we're trying to do now, is to finish up these 2 parts of the report. And I don't see any need actually, except to have one more meeting after this one to be heavily advertised to get as many of the members that we can to attend, to issue the final report to them ahead of time, to make sure that it's well distributed, and then to have a meeting and have our members, at least hopefully a quorum, to approve what we've put together. So that, to me, I'd like to have that discussion before we talk in any detail about these 2 reports, for those of you that have been able to make this meeting. So Gail, I would like you to continue with the comments that you had started, just for the record anyway, what you did.
So I am done with that. I've responded to all the comments. I've made the changes that are within my purview to make, or within, the ones that have been explained to me and I understand them, and so I've made them. And I don't know that there's any outstanding comments.
Right.
No one has commented since the August 6th meeting, aside from Joe raising some issues at that meeting.
Right. No, I meant in general about us meeting as a group. So you had initiated a proposal for us to make sure that the agenda gets out ahead of time, that the meeting gets confirmed, so that we don't have any confusion. We had a list of meetings, what our recommended meetings were, that was issued by Mumby some time ago when we reorganized our meeting schedule, when we thought that we were going to have more comprehensive work completed. So that's what I've been following, with the exception of the 2 weeks ago that I canceled, basically because we didn't have anything to put on the agenda that was ready. So what my proposal is going to be is that we finish out this meeting tonight. I try to track down the minutes from the last couple of meetings, put together an agenda for the very final meeting for the OC. And at that time, or prior to that, to have a final report, what it's going to look like, or the draft report, out to the members. So what I'm looking at is potentially either 2 weeks from now or 4 weeks from now, having the final meeting of the 2020 Overview Commission. So comments on that.
Madam Chair, if you would like to send me the agenda prior to the meeting, I can make sure that it is added to the Athens-Clarke County events calendar, as well as the YouTube link posted in time for viewing by the community. If you would like me to do that, I can work with the Public Information Office to make sure that gets done.
Right. It'll be important for the we may have one more meeting or 2 more meetings. What I really would like to see from the members that are here, do you see a need to have any more than one last meeting beyond this one?
No, I think this sounds good, except when is the next meeting? The 27th, because we all got the 24th. We all received the notice for that one. And also there is an error here. Thursday is October 1st. That's a minor thing,
Right.
which is 2 weeks from now.
Right. I noticed that tonight is 2. So the September 24th meeting was supposed to be an executive meeting,
Okay.
right? And that again was following the kind of timeline that Mumby had put out in July. The next normally scheduled general meeting would be October 1st, which we can hold to, although I'm not sure that I'll have the final draft report in its final form ready by then, or at least prior to then, for the members to approve. So I would say October 15th to schedule for the very last meeting for the OC.
I think that makes sense. I will definitely follow your lead for obvious reasons, but also because I think you have the big picture on what it's going to take. What time is required to get that final report together.
Well, it's much simpler. It's made much simpler by the fact that we just have these two important components. Most of it will be following the outline that I showed last week, with some exceptions. Is my plan to follow that outline, and basically it's very descriptive in the sense that there'll be an executive summary in the beginning, basically saying that it's not a comprehensive report, although what we submit we consider quite important and valid, and open for their consideration, these 2 important things that we're submitting to them. And then kind of an explanation of the evolution of the commission regarding what happened with COVID and what happened with our organization. And so our recommendation to start another OC probably within 2 years, to ask for a new commission, assuming that they do want a more comprehensive report or more comprehensive work from the Overview Commission. They may or may not. I don't know. But this in general was kind of our recommendations from back in May, and then again in July. And so to have that narrative, and then of course what we did and how we did it, and where the records will be, and where they can find whatever additional information that they need from our work. So, basically it'll be probably 10 pages, not even 10 pages of that. And then these two reports, I think some of the OC Commission report review will be redundant with that. So we may move some of that, some of the comments from that report up into the main body of the narrative. But I've just started putting that together, based on the outline that I had shown last meeting. So I've set some time aside this week, and hopefully I can knock it out. Ellen has promised to help there too.
That was my question. Is Ellen still going to work on the final reports? And if so, what what is her anticipated timeline? Do we know?
Yeah, well, she's waiting on me, and so a lot of it's going to be just formatting and editing type stuff. All right. So yeah, so hopefully she'll be able to do that. My hope is that the product won't require a whole lot of work beyond that first draft. But then we have some time still. I mean, if we have our final meeting and in general the draft report is approved, then we can go to final with the report after that, send it out by email, have everybody sign it electronically if they wish, and then send it on to the commission.
So I guess we just need to check with Ellen to make sure October 15th is good for her to get that somewhat final draft, I guess.
No, well, I don't expect that she's going to have to work too hard on it before that meeting, because I would really like everyone to look at what I've done to say, is that acceptable? Everybody's gotten to see these reports, but there won't be anything there that we're not aware of. There may be things that maybe people don't want in the report, but give them an opportunity to look at it and to address it. I think the work that Ellen might be doing would probably be after that draft that I put out ready for the 15 October meeting.
Beth, if I may point out something slightly related, we have our audit committee presentation on the 14th.
Right.
So are you sure you will, then you're also working on another major project. So that's 3 major things you're working on for that week. We still have time to go beyond that if you think that might be too much.
Well, I could probably let you know better about this time next week, because that's my intention to finish this up, most of those projects this week.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's my intention.
Okay, so we'll be meeting at the executive meeting next Thursday, the 22nd. So
that's what's on the schedule. But then I don't have any members here, with the exception of, let me see, Brandy. Brandy is the only member of the executive committee here tonight, besides myself. And so I'm not seeing a real need to have that. It's scheduled. So we put a placeholder in there, assuming that there might be some work to be done in terms of scheduling or planning or whatever. But I don't see the need. In my mind, I don't see what to put on the agenda for that executive meeting. Any other?
Since we don't have a quorum to vote on anything tonight, would we want to keep that one and see if we can get more people?
Yes. But again, it's the executive committee, so they would be voting on maybe just this plan that I'm presenting now to have one more meeting and to get the report out to everybody so that they in draft form and say yay or nay. I mean, that's.
What can we do without a quorum? Can we even change meetings to not Thursday because like Mumby can't make it on Thursdays and that would affect our quorum? And what can we do? Can we change meeting times?
Yeah, can we update a quorum without a quorum?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Can you even vote on that?
Yeah, good question. Good question. Well, as I say, I don't want to struggle with it too much because I don't see that we have a lot of work to do in meeting format anymore. So basically, it's just to get that report done in its at least in a final draft form a month from now, and I think that's pretty doable. So I mean, I just don't see the need to have another meeting next week.
Right. I think that makes sense, Beth. If you and Ellen feel like, if you get to next week and you and Ellen feel like that the schedule you've talked about is a good schedule, meeting in what is a month from tonight, then let's confirm. And then if you would just confirm that to everybody, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. And as I say, in 2 weeks from now, if it doesn't seem that it's going to be reasonable, then we will cancel that meeting and reschedule 2 weeks beyond that or a month beyond that. I mean, there's no timeline for us to get this done other than to get it done by the end of the year. There's no, other than, like I say, all of us still kind of on the hot seat to just put our name to something and put it and turn it in. And these two, like I say, these two parts of the report are the significant parts of the report are, for all intents and purposes, done. So it's like I say, a matter of formatting and editing. So we have a report that looks professional and satisfies the requirements that we need to have in there.
Madam Chair, may I make one comment?
Sure.
Just wanted to just remind you all to be thinking about the work session if you wanted to continue on with that work session presentation in November. And if not, I'll let the manager's office know so they can remove the overview commission from the schedule right now.
What was the date on that? What was the date on the November work session? Do you remember?
I think it is, I think it is the 6th, but let me just confirm one quick moment.
Okay. Well, this was the other thing that I want to talk to the group about when we have a quorum is whether or not to present the report to in person to the commission or to turn in a report in writing and be happy and satisfied with that.
November 10th, I believe.
November 10th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I think we can make a decision later on that. We'll keep it on. We'll keep it on the board, and if we decide not to present it in person, we can cancel it next month, right?
That's right. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I would think we'd want to keep that October 1st. If you think you're going to have it, the rough draft kind of wrapped up in the next week, that's 2 weeks from now. And that would give Ellen a month to do work her magic, not to stress her out and give her too much at a short timeline. If we wait till October 15th to review the rough draft and give it to Ellen, that cuts 2 weeks out of her schedule.
Yeah, I don't know how much more work that Ellen's going to do on it. As I say, I need to talk to her directly and see.
Right, I'm just saying, if you think you're going to have it wrapped up in about a week or so anyway for the rough draft.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, but that still gives you 2 weeks before the 1st, and just to not put it all on her in case she has other things to work on. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but when you get into some of this stuff, it can take some significant time to get it right.
So what I'm saying is that whenever it's ready to go out to the members in what should be a final draft form, it'll go out. So as soon as so we won't wait until the meeting of the 15th to do that. It will go out as soon as it's ready in its final what we think would be maybe final draft or second to final draft form. It should go out to the members. So if in fact my ambitious plan to have it out, be done my part anyway, by this time next week, then if Ellen wants to or is able to do more work on that, she'll have some time as well from then.
So yeah, I don't think there should be that many changes. She can probably go ahead and get started on her work, and if there's anything that really is important and comes up we haven't changed, then she can just have to eat it, I guess, and make those few little changes. But I think for the most part, it's done.
Okay. All right. So what your point was, Joe, was to have a meeting on the 1st? I don't.
Instead of pushing it back to the 15th, if Ellen was going to wait for a significant number of us to review the draft and say, yeah, let's go ahead and do the final, just to not put her back another 2 weeks waiting for us to decide.
Right. Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to you, to everybody in enough time before an October 1st meeting. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So everybody else needs to have a chance to look at it too before the meeting, especially if it's going to be our last meeting. Right. If we're looking for some blessing from everybody that's going to say yes or no, they need to have time, at least a week, to look at it. Right.
Yeah, I would think once you come up with your draft, Ellen can at least start formatting it and that kind of thing. Maybe not do all the verbiage and all that, but if she hasn't done it already,
Right.
get a head start on it. But I don't
I'll
imagine
I'll
much
give her a
change.
holler tomorrow and see if she gets it a week from now. If she can do it for a week, then she has, and then the members have it for a week, and then we have our meeting.
Right.
Right. Okay. Good. Any more comments on kind of this kind of very shaky plan that we have going forward? What do you have to say, Roy?
Roy probably wants to bring in the NFL right now.
Yes. That's right. All right. So let's go ahead now here for these, on the agenda, we have the approved focus area reports, these two reports in here. So since we do not have a quorum, we cannot do a kind of a vote to approve where we are with those. Although we've had a lot of votes and a lot of analysis on there. So what we can do is just see if there's any other member input for the ones that are here on these two. But I think, as like what Gail said before, I think we're pretty much a done deal. So I was really ready tonight to vote on these two. But we're going to have to do silence as consent by those that aren't here tonight and go ahead if we're still going to go ahead and try to put this thing together in the next week. So any other comments about these two reports?
I'm just wondering, without the quorum, can we even do a presentation to the commission, or is it? I mean, without a quorum, do we just go ahead and wrap it up and submit a report? Say, here's what we have with what's left.
Yeah, I don't think we're restricted from just submitting the written report. I do expect all the members that are still on the commission to, sign off on that report in one way or another, either by vote or by signature.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if doing a presentation to the commission would be a quorum type vote.
Oh, to decide. I don't know. I mean, as I say,
It's one thing to just give a report, another thing to sit there and discuss it.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, certainly discussing it is preferable, but I just don't know quorum rules.
Right.
Well, would we need a quorum to do a presentation? I mean, that's not.
No, I don't know. I think it means to make the decision whether or not to, am I right, Joe, to make the decision whether or not we're going to present it to the commission or not?
I thought we had already decided that we were.
We are on the schedule to do it apparently on November 10th. And so if I'm going to do it, then I'm certainly happy to do it. If we are going to do it all together, which would be quite interesting after watching a lot of their work sessions, how we do that and what we present will be a challenge. But I'm certainly willing to do it. In a presentation format. I mean, I hate to do it here on Skype. I mean, on this the WebEx. It's really, really difficult to make a kind of powerful presentation, or to make to communicate it as well as if you could do it in person. But I'm if that's what the members would like to do, then that's what we'll do. All right.
You're muted, Roy.
Roy, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay,
Good.
sorry. I was going to say, if you're going to do this personally, I'd sure like to be there and watch you as a representation of our OC group, even though it's been fractured. I do have a question, and it came up because of this. And I do not remember the fellow's name that was our vice president, our vice chair, that quit early on and resigned his position as vice chair of the Overview Commission, but retained the right to continue to do his own thing. Have we heard anything about that, or whether he has just dropped out of sight? or whether he's going to continue on his own to present something to the mayor and the commission as well.
Well, I think that comment in his resignation letter was more a courtesy than an intention to do. I'm sure all the members have feelings about their experience here and maybe would like to have a forum to communicate that. I know that Tim had sent me an email saying that, can we submit individual letters as part of the report? And I just saw that today and I think he was thinking because John kind of reserved the right to do that too.
Yes.
So as individual citizens and as a member of this commission, you don't lose your rights to be able to communicate to the mayor and the commission, certainly by being on the commission. So I don't have the power to restrict anybody from communicating their experiences if they think there's something of value there. Putting it in the report is something that's different. That's the report itself is a product, has to be a product, hopefully, of whatever we got left over as a quorum that the group agrees to. And we have got this opportunity to talk to the audit committee because the audit task force has findings that they think are really relevant and important that the audit committee should hear as a result of this work. And I support that effort because I agree with that, but I can't put it in the report because our majority voted not to continue additional work beyond what we've done here. So,
Yeah.
So as I say, as individuals and as you still have the title that you are a member of this commission for this period of time, and as such have a position and an opinion that may be valuable to the mayor and commission as an individual, which John certainly thought that he had things of value maybe to communicate, and he offered that, but he also made it that they needed to ask him, basically, if you want me to, I'll be happy to share this with you. So he left it on them to make that decision whether or not he had something to communicate.
This is Gail. I also just wanted to remind people that in the 2 draft reports that we have in front of us, there's a placeholder for if any commission member wants to incorporate an alternate view to what's presented in those 2 draft reports. So those placeholders are still in there, and that could be space to put something in there if it's relevant to the topic of those 2 draft reports.
Right.
Well, again, if it's decided that you are going to address the mayor and the commission personally, I'd like to go along with you, please.
I would love to do it. I'd love to do it personally. I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity to do it personally. I think it's going to be under this kind of format, Roy. I think it's going to be under a WebEx format. If they're still having their meetings, like we're having this meeting here, that's how they're having their meetings. Stephanie, correct me if I'm wrong. Are they having any in-person commission meetings yet? Work sessions?
No, all of their meetings are scheduled and they are attending via WebEx, but from time to time they do have guests that come in and speak at the podium. They show up at City Hall and they are escorted in, and they do speak at the podium just like in the past, but they're the only person besides an officer and maybe another ACC representative that's in that one room, but it's not necessary nor required.
Right. So as I say, the opportunity to do a nice PowerPoint presentation and to have a couple folks there with me to talk specifically about some of these points, especially those that had worked so hard on these 2 reports. I think the opportunity is only going to be over WebEx if I want to do that. And I'm reluctant to do it because I don't like this format. I don't think it's super effective. I know that people are in endless meetings, endless WebExes, and it's just it's just not as impactful, and it sometimes even has the opposite effect. So in the sense that it's taken less seriously because people they're in a different format, right? So it's just and I may be wrong, but I I think it's less impactful. I'm absolutely willing to do it. And Ellen said she'd be very happy to do the PowerPoint for me. And I would love for those that had worked on the bulk of what we're presenting to join us in those meetings so that they can contribute as well. But it's not my preference. My preference would be to maybe wait till January even and do a presentation when they're all in the same room, you know.
We got time.
Yeah. But anyway, I will serve at the pleasure of the remaining members and do it whatever way you'd like to do it. So good. So, ladies and gentlemen, is there more that we need to talk about tonight? That we can.
Football's back.
What's that?
Football is back.
Football is back. Yes.
It's probably not going to be January when we're meeting in person.
When we're doing what?
It says, which means it's probably not going to be January when we're meeting in person.
No. Right. Good. All right. Well, it's good to see everyone. I do appreciate you making the time again as we wind down. So I would like to go ahead and still make that proposal that the next general meeting is going to be the 15th of October. And that potentially may be our last meeting if we can get it done and get everybody all the information ahead of time and everybody can make it. Now, I know that timing is bad timing for our two secretaries anyway, who are otherwise engaged now on those two times. So I might try to do ask them to do a doodle poll to see the best time for everyone again, so we can get more participation. Or even a different date. If we're just going to have one more meeting, we can have a meeting where we think everybody can make it and finish up our work and finish up our business with a quorum, right?
I think that's a good idea to make sure we can have a quorum.
Right. All right. So we have a tentative date of October 15th, but we'll send out what do you call it? A doodle poll? What's the name of that? When you send out the meeting opportunities, there's a name.
Doodle.
Doodle's one of them. Yeah.
Doodle. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll try to do that to update the time. I know, Brandy, those are. You probably go to work tonight, right? You go. Yeah. See. So if we do it maybe a couple of hours earlier on that day, then we have to wake Brandy up earlier so that she can get that meeting. We don't want to wake her up too early, or you don't want a pissed off pharmacist in the hospital. They need their sleep. All right, very good. And so we canceled the executive meeting for next week. I don't see a reason to have that.
Okay.
So, I will send out an email, and I'll try to get better on top of it now that I know that both our secretaries really are kind of out of the net now. So I'm going to have to do it to make sure I get everybody notified. Right.
All right.
All right. Very good.
Well, you all have a wonderful weekend and a nice evening, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right. So can I have
feel bad that you're doing all the work, Beth. I feel like I should be contributing something else, doing a little bit on the audit committee. Is there anything you think we might be able to help with?
So yes, and I would especially like Brandy to look over the PowerPoint that I'm putting together for the audit presentation, taking your findings and putting it in a presentation that would be really something worthwhile for the audit committee. So we're going to send that to you, and then you can work on it. So I'll it's probably going to be out 3 days or so, and I'll have something for you. All right.
Sounds good.
And if it keeps raining, it'll be faster because there's nothing else I can do but work on the computer, right?
I just checked my rain gauge, Beth, and it's full at 5 inches.
Yeah, I know. We had more than 5 inches. I know for sure.
Yeah.
So our cellar flooded too. So we've been working on that this morning. Yeah, that happens from time to time in our big old house, and So we got to try and fix that because the sump pump wasn't working and
Oh,
yeah, all that nonsense.
not fun.
Not fun at all. Not for anybody that's had that. And of course, the pastures are underwater and the horses are tearing down the barn because they're stuck inside.
Yep.
Yep. Nothing to do. Luckily, I don't have little kids that I have to chase around the house anymore. My youngest
Somebody's
is 21 this week. So.
Brandy's got a new baby. I saw her crawling on it.
Oh.
What'd you name her? Tim or him?
We actually have two. I rescued a kitten from the parking deck at work, and then we got him a little sister. So we have a little. Hold on, they're cute. Everyone wants to see them.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at there.
Hey, this is Albus.
What's his name?
Albus,
Alvis.
like Dumbledore in Harry Potter.
Uh-huh.
And then this little girl,
Oh, look at there.
little pocket panther, is Nynaeve. It's from a book series we're reading.
How about that?
They're cute.
They'll grow up together. You take care of them. They'll be around a long, long time.
Yes, yeah. We're working on introducing them to the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
They actually were really behaved. I was worried they were going to be loud and try to run across the computer, so they were really good.
No.
All right.
Well,
See you in a
everybody
couple weeks, folks.
stay safe, stay dry.
Yep.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
You betcha.
Okay.
We'll come out and go riding one day.
Absolutely. Only nuts horses. Yeah, they'll enjoy it.
All right. Bye now.